Hello and welcome to Mr. Float. Today we are going to be discussing special methods, also known as magic methods. In today's video, I'll be using the same example of dog class which I have been using for the past videos. Right now, inside of our class dog, we have only one special method, which is the init method. All the special methods are surrounded by double underscores, so they can be also called as double underscore methods, which are now popularly known as Dunder methods. So now if somebody says Dunder methods, you know they mean the special methods. Now that you have understood the term, let's go ahead and see what makes them special. I've got two objects over here, d1 and d2 of our class dog, and I'm going to pass them to the print function. By default, it returned us the address at which the objects are stored. But what if you want the end user to have a clear understanding of the objects? And let's say you want to return the name of the objects. This is where the Dunder str comes in. Str also stands for string. So it helps us to set what string output you want for the objects when they are passed to the print statement. So we can define Dunder str over here and return self.name. You can also pass in the age if you want, but I think just the name is sufficient. Now if you pass the object to the print statement, you get their names and the end user is not confused between the objects. However, for fellow coders or for debugging purposes, you want to return a string that is unambiguous, meaning here you don't have a choice or freedom to leave out age or to select age. You have to return a string exactly the way the object was built, or a string that represents the object. It is done by Dunder REPR, where REPR stands for represent. So we define REPR and return dog self.name and self.age. This would return the dog with its first name and age. And remember, we had used the same format to create this object in the first place. So we pass in the name and the age. So exactly how you pass in, that has to be returned in the REPR statement. So if a coder wants to see the structure of your class or how your objects are being built, he can just pass an object to the Dunder REPR. Remember, Dunder methods, although are known as special methods for these features, are fundamentally also the methods of that object. So you can pass in an object to these methods in the conventional fashion too. For instance, we can say d1 dot dunder REPR and it returns this one. This is how the fellow coders would be using your REPR method. However, let's say we haven't defined the Dunder str inside your class and then you pass an object to the print statement, it will print it from the REPR method. Okay, this happened because str has more priority when compared to REPR, and when str is not defined, the print statement fetches the str from the REPR statement. If we have both Dunder str and Dunder REPR defined inside a class, then the print statement would return the Dunder str's output. It is because Dunder str has the highest priority. Now let's move on to our next Dunder method. You might have used the len function, which returns the length of a string. Say we pass q1 to the len function and then print it out. You see it throws us an error. It's simply because we haven't defined the len function inside a class. To define it, we can just say define Dunder len and say you want to return the length of the name of the dog. So you just return that as such. And now if you run the len function, it prints out 5, which is again the length of the name of the dog. Now Dunder len is a string function, so you cannot pass in an int variable over there. So we cannot say return the length of the age of the dog because again it would be an error. It doesn't work like that. It can be only used to return the length of a string. Let's move on to a different example now. Let's say we add d1 and d2 and then print it out. Again, it throws us an error because it doesn't understand what exactly do you want to add from these both objects. We need to tell it what exactly we need to add. There are two ways to go about. Let's say you want to return the addition of age of the two objects. We can do that by defining Dunder add and pass it self, other. Other refers to the second object. Now you don't really have to use other over here. You can use any other term. But again, like how self is a common practice, other is also a common practice. It makes things easier for other coders to understand your code. So let's return self.age plus other.age. Now when you add D1 and D2 and print it out, it gives you the sum of their ages. But that's not it. Add can also be used with strings to concatenate them. For instance, let us go ahead and change this a little bit. Let's say we want to return self.name plus other.name. Now if you see, it concatenates the names of both the objects. But it is logical to just return the age, so I'm going to change that back to self.age plus other.age. Okay, cool. The point I was trying to make by adding the names was just to show you how an operation of addition can be used both in the int variable as well as the string variable. I hope you're getting my point as to how to manipulate or attain the results that you want to attain through these Dunder methods. There are many Dunder methods that you can use or incorporate in your classes. If you want to know more available Dunder methods, you can just head over to your Python console and then just type in dir and pass it int. So now it would return all the Dunder methods available for int variable. In the same way, if you pass in str, it would return all the Dunder methods which are available for the str method. Now, if you notice, the add function is available even for str or string and in the int variable as well. So these are something you can play around with. What I can do is I can just go ahead and add the Python documentation for Dunder methods or special methods in the description. So you can just go ahead and check them out over there. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.